Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala ashrafil mursaleen Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We have a delegation from the Al-Waha Deaf Society. It's a pleasure to have them and welcome them to have them here. For the first part, we will ask Dr. Cassiem de Wet to address us. Thereafter, Brother Faisal Sayyid, who is the ambassador of the Al-Waha and also a graduate honors degree in Sharia, he will speak for about 10 minutes thereafter. Thank you so much. And of course, we'll have an interpreter by Brother Abdul Wagiet Lakay, and also Faghrie Moosa will be giving the adhaan. I believe he's slightly challenged when it comes to his hearing as well. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I have a question, and that question is, does the Jumuah understand what it means when somebody says that you are deaf? And I'm not talking about selective hearing when somebody talks to you and they say kali wari. I'm talking about a world of silence where as a child you have to grow up and you're unable to hear your mother's voice, subhanAllah. You're unable to hear your siblings, the TV, the sounds from outside, the adhaan. You are unable to partake in conversation. You are unable to understand what is going on the TV when the family sit and watch a TV show. This is the deafness that I'm referring to. A world of silence. In this world, the deaf community, and in particular the Muslim deaf community, they are being marginalized and don't have equal access to education, social media, and just socializing in general. As a Muslim community in Cape Town, we socialize a lot. We look forward to going to those weddings, the dukmals, the dhikrs, etc. In this community, the deaf community, is unable to attend, and even if they attend, for example, like today, if Brother Wagiet was not here, the deaf brothers in the masjid will not be able to partake in this message, this awareness that I'm bringing to you. So in this world of silence is to grow up. These youngsters have to attend, well, as infants they have to attend schools, and they have special schools. And I think even from here, a child will have to travel all the way to Witterboma, Wynberg, for a school for the deaf. These so-called special schools. I'm not sure why they refer to it as special, because we don't treat them as special. We just call them special so we can put them in a corner, and there they must stay until we can assist them. They also spend 18 months in one grade. So by the time they are 18 years old, they get kicked out of school because they become unruly. Who wouldn't, if you don't understand? I mean, even our normal youngsters, normal hearing youngsters, when they become teenagers, they become restless, they don't want to school, they find school boring, the discipline is boring. So it makes a group of people who are unable to access education, access just normal conversation, they cannot socialize. You can just imagine what happens to them. So they find themselves in a corner. And these schools, unfortunately, they are of a Catholic faith. And this is where the deaf Muslim community learn about religion. To such an extent that when finally Al-Waha opened a madrasa for the deaf, we find that the Aqidah is completely skewed. For example, we asked them, do you know who Allah is? And they say, yes, they do know. And the answer is that Allah is the same as Jesus. Subhanallah. And there are some brothers and sisters who have passed on with that Aqidah. So it is incumbent on us as the Muslim community to ensure that they have equal access to Islamic education. It's not just my responsibility, it's not just Imam's responsibility, it's all of our responsibility. So 27 years ago, Al-Waha established a madrasa for the deaf. And here we face many challenges. We find that they need social interaction, they need assistance socially, besides learning the deen of Islam. So it was difficult. We had to learn to sign first. And this is where the problem starts. It's the language. In the early 1940s, a policy was decided upon that deaf people must learn a spoken language. And if you can't hear the sounds, how on earth are you going to learn a spoken language successfully? Some deaf people are hard of hearing. They are able to hear some sounds, and we are able to interact with them verbally. But there are those that are profoundly deaf, that has never heard a sound, or a sound that they can identify as language. And these are the people that we expect to speak. And why is that? We believed in those days that if they can speak, they will fit into the hearing world. And the question is, why would we want to expect them to fit into the hearing world? Why can't we fit into their world? And for this reason, Al-Waha has morphed and has become an advocacy group. And we feel that if we can bridge the gap, the communication gap with the deaf, then they will fit into our world. Maybe about 20 years ago, the government decided on an inclusive policy for education. Up until today, that has not come to pass. And why not? It's too difficult. Let's just call them special and keep them in a corner, and we treat them as people who are subhumans. So as the Muslim community in Cape Town, we feel that we want to change that. How are we going to do that? We've been teaching sign language courses for the last 6 years to try and get the community to understand and to be able to communicate with the deaf. But that's too slow. We have also started doing sign language courses, interpreting courses for people like Abdul Wagiet. He was one of our first students in our first courses. And the idea was to bring interpreters into the masjid, bring them into any places where there are lectures on Islamic knowledge. So for the last 3 years, we've been doing just that in partnership with the MJC and Basanza. Alhamdulillah, it's successful, but it's also a slow process. Alhamdulillah. In addition, we felt that we have to start at grassroots levels. So we established a Montessori Academy. The preschool started in July of this year, alhamdulillah. Inclusive meaning it's open to all, and deaf and hearing learners together in one setting. No such thing as a special place for the deaf anymore. And we just believe that if they grow up together, they will believe that the deaf are the same, which they are. They are not deaf and dumb, brothers. You know, when we refer to a deaf person, we talk about deaf and dumb, or dummy, or something like that. They just want to be known as deaf, not hearing impaired, or hearing challenged, or anything of that kind, just deaf. So we want an academy that at the end of the day is going to be a beacon of hope for the Muslim and for the Muslim deaf in Cape Town. What do we need? Because we said earlier on, it's all our responsibility to make this happen, to provide access to the deaf, to Islamic education, secular education, and social interaction. So what do we need from the community? We are an NGO, and we need the community to support this endeavor. Because believe me, this will be an academy of excellence and something that the Muslim community can be proud of, inshallah. And I would like that to happen in my lifetime, inshallah. So the request to everybody in the masjid at the moment is, we are known as a charitable community. We've been building mosques for ages. I believe we have over 300 masajid in Western Cape alone. And we all have access to it. Some of them are empty most of the time. We have hifz school all over the country. We also have poverty alleviation, all kinds of poverty, whether it's clothing or people's houses burning down, or just dishing out food to the impoverished. And we are known for it. So the appeal today is, buy in to this idea of ours, of inclusion. Come and assist us to establish an academy of hope and an academy of excellence. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, in Surah Ar-Rahman, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. Then which of the favors of your Lord will you deny? If we don't deny the favors that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestow on us, then there must be a belief that we must assist those who are unable to do so themselves, to grant them access. So how are you able to assist? If you are not able to provide financial aid, you are able to help with your skills. We don't possess all the skills. We have purchased the building in opposite the Rylands in Bridgetown, and it was badly vandalized, and we are restoring it. But we also need funds to make this happen, to get it off the ground. We have people standing outside. There's a table, and we're running a table order campaign. We're asking for an order. We're asking for about 50 Rand per month. But anyway, we're running out of time. So you can get some more information about our organization outside there. I know we're in a hurry, but please take a minute and check it out. If you're unable to do so, check out our website, www.alwaha.co.za. Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Salam.
Assalamualaikum. They always tell me to keep it simple, but I don't know why. I don't know if I think Assalamualaikum. Just very briefly, because time was cut short due to everyone being late, we apologize for that. Thank you, Mama Sungwalidi, for providing the opportunity for Al-Wafa. Providing the opportunity for Al-Wafa is at the same time providing an opportunity for the deaf. And it's that aspect that I want to go through. My apologies for it, I'm going to go through some notes, but I normally try not to do this. But I come from a studio environment where we've got a machine telling us what to do. So I've got to just go with what's going on here. I want to start off just quickly by understanding the very basis of society. And the basis of society is built on justice, freedom, peace, and contentment. And in this, we must understand our collective purpose. So, the collective purpose that plugs into that justice and peace. And freedom, justice, and peace is built on the recognition of our inherent ability to find dignity and provide dignity for everybody around us. So we've got all these major concepts of justice and peace, but that is to bring dignity to others. And just as a matter of interest, this pronouncement was actually contained in the preamble of the 1948 Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which served a particular purpose, and that was to ensure freedom, justice, peace, and dignity for all of people. I brought up this aspect of the preservation of dignity for various reasons, and that is that it's my personal belief that dignity is impeded for the deaf. And it's having a problem. I'm trying to keep it that dignity is impeded for the deaf, and that's part that I want to go on. I want to give you this example of what it feels like for your dignity to be impeded upon. A very simple example. If any of us walked into any of the stores right now, any of the chain supermarkets, and the cashier spoke to you in a very bad way, the reason that you become upset with that is because your personal dignity was impeded upon, and that is why you become upset. Now, I too, at some point in my life, was quite blind to the deaf and deaf to the blind. And I just wanted to think about what I said. I was blinded to the cause of the deaf. Strangely enough, I had to sit down at some point and come to the philosophy and come and bring myself within the philosophical frame and ideological framework of the fact that we have a particular purpose, and that purpose is to ensure that nobody's dignity is impeded upon. So I introspected after a particular incident in 2018 when I served the CEO for one of the TV channels that was broadcasting throughout Africa. Dr. De Wet and his team walked into my office asking for a meeting. They sat down in the meeting and said that we're looking to take 5 or 10 deaf people for Umrah. It's all sponsored. I committed to the campaign, but what happened was I went out, lay on the bed, and I told my mother about this. We're now passed on for 3 years. And may Allah give a journey.
Ameen.
The funny thing is that at that point, she said to me on the bed that, is there only 5 deaf people? And I said, no, there's much more. And she said, but you need to find them and take them with for Umrah. And I said to them, but it's over 100 people. And she said, but don't worry, you'll be able to find the funds. 3 million rand later, and 5 months later, we went with more than 127 people for Umrah. That was the big start of the recognition of Allah and what we were already doing for 20 years. The question I ask is, it's on that trip that I learned a lot of things. I also learned during a session that there was an Arabic sign language that needed to be translated, so it was like a 4-way relay system when you wanted to speak to an Arabic deaf person, which was very interesting. The question I ask is, are these people being afforded the dignity when we are still calling them dumb? We still call them dumb. Are we affording them that dignity? Firstly, before we even get into our purpose of serving and seeing to their needs. If we have a broken arm, for example, if any of us sitting here have a broken arm and Imam introduced you this gentleman here with a broken arm and broken neck, clearly you're going to be looking at Imam because you don't have a broken neck, you have a broken arm. Now this is what we tend to do with the deaf people. We tend to add on this down stamp, if I may call it that, and we're impeding on their dignity. It is people like Dr. De Wet and others that need to come out to mosques like this and ask Imam if they can come and speak and plead on behalf of the deaf. But I ask the question to our Muslim brothers and sisters today, I don't know if they're sisters or not, they are sisters, that is it actually correct that people must come out and try and mobilize society so that we must do what we're supposed to do? We are supposed to attend to them. They are between us. We marginalize them, we put them on the side because we are too fearful of facing who they are. The great poet, sage and philosopher, storyteller, Mevlana Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi, who passed away in 1273 in Konya in Turkey, whom Imam and myself had the great pleasure of visiting in June this year, I think, said that the world is here in front of us to give us experiential knowledge, understanding, and it is changeable, transient, laugh, sing, dance, love, have children, create houses, money and power. And yet in a moment, death snatches away everything, leaves you shivering, in fear, shaking, and drowning you in your own unconsciousness. So why did I bring this up? I am the chairman of a Muslim cemetery board at the same time. But so I deal with the deaf and the dead, and so I'm just going to reconcile that. But I brought this up to bring us into the framework of, and why I brought up the example of my mother. People ask me today, and they say, it is 3 years that your mother is gone. I've learned to stop them and say, she is where we left her in 2019. On the 3rd of September, we left her at a certain point. It is us that are coming closer to that point. Her time is there. It is us coming closer, so our time is evaporating as we go along. People stop me and they say, you visit your mother every day in the cemetery. And I should start looking towards the future. I tell them I'm looking at the future right now. This is the future. The issue and why I'm bringing this up is because we as human beings only have limited time on this planet. And it is what we do with that time that's going to count. That which we keep for ourselves, we're going to lose forever. And that which we have given to others, we will gain forever. Meaning whenever we leave that we've given to others, we'll gain. My time is up, Imam, and I rushed through this one. And therefore the interpreter couldn't handle it. I suppose my apology for that. I want to conclude in saying, it is with this that I urge you today to get involved, to be part of doing something for the deaf, to play a role in seeking for their inherent dignity. So, you know what it's going to be to find their dignity. We need to dig deep, and we need to build that institution in Bridgetown. We already invested 4 million rand into purchasing the building. We need another 7 million to complete the building. And I just want to quickly conclude saying that Dr. De Wet brought up the mosque for a reason, but maybe he just didn't feel like he had the guts to bring it up, and I'm going to bring it up Imam, in any case. And that is, yes, we have over 800 mosques in South Africa. I'm not saying we mustn't continue mosques and building mosques, but right now we don't have one proper deaf institution for our brothers and sisters that are deaf. Can we not just complete that and then continue with the rest of it so that we can continue giving them their freedom, their justice, and being part of bringing peace and harmony, and thereby giving them back their dignity. Thank you. Sorry for rushing to the
We say thank you so much, Faisal Sayed, the ambassador of Al-Waha Deaf Institute, who's also got a graduate honors degree in Sharia as well. We also thank Dr. Cassiem de Wet, who is the chairperson of the Al-Waha Institute, and thank him for his quick discourse that he had to give. It's actually a jihad coming to this part of the world when it comes to traffic. We also thank Brother Abdul Wagiet Lakay, the interpreter whom you saw. When it came to Faisal, he eventually gave up. I think Faisal was speaking too fast. The Mu'adhin will be Faghrie Moosa, who will be giving the adhaan, and he is deaf. So please bear with him when it comes to certain pronunciations. I take firstly this opportunity, so many people have passed away, oh Allah. Brother Ibrahim Rukuddin, the accountant, has passed away, Allah grant him Jannah and his family sabr. Also Hamida Kapre, Karbelter, has passed away, Allah grant her Jannah and sabr to the families, and so many others, oh Allah grant him peace. And as well, Brother Usman Kapre is in hospital, Allah grant him Shifa, and all our dear departed ones. And all those that are sick, Allah grant Shifa. And we thank those visitors that are here. Thank you for coming and enjoy your stay here, inshallah. Thank you so much. Thank you again. Sheikh, come forward. Where's okay.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة والدرجة الرفيعة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته وارزقنا شفاعته ولا تحرمنا رؤيته إنك لا تخلف الميعاد.